I want to get one of those like arc around monitors. But yeah, no. The thing about Andor that surprised me is the hatred of the Irish when they get a gang of Irish cops to try to arrest a Hispanic person. That's a weird racial dynamic on a diverse Disney Plus show. Oh, hey, we're live. Hi, everybody.
What about potatoes?
Spoilers for Andor. If you're Irish or of British working class / Northern British roots, Andor treats you as the foot soldiers of imperialism. That's a nice thing about the show. And again, spoiler warning for people who want to watch Andor.
What about the Latinx people? I heard they love those.
Yeah, I mean they're more primitive than the Gungans, the Sand People, and the Jawas. I mean,
I kind of figured I thought maybe the show was maybe it was going to be okay because I haven't heard anything about it. So that seemed like a good sign. But
it's a very boring.
I think that's just
show.
because people are getting. I think that's just because people are getting smart and not watching these things anymore.
Yeah, I mean, boring's not bad. Boring's a good sign. I think that sounds like they're at least trying something different. They're not just throwing a bunch of
also
silly action.
Also, all the minorities who work for the Space Police, that's a private military contract that works for the Empire, that are of a non-white racial background, are all lazy and don't want to do their jobs. And say, hey, listen, I'm not going to do this unless he approves my overtime. It's a very weird.
That's just normal. Like
bizarre.
I actually need you to approve my overtime for this week, or I got to leave the show.
Well, I mean, like the white people all want to work, but the brown people don't on the show. That's really weird.
And they're willing to revolt to not work. Is that the idea?
They're
start a rebellion.
They're doing the quiet quitting stuff, where they're only doing the bare minimum required for their job.
Oh yeah. Oh, that phrase has been making the rounds. Quiet quitting. Everyone, I think we all learned it at the same time, like 3 weeks ago or something. And
something like that.
There's something to that.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what the unions have had people doing for ages before this.
Well, talking about wanting to work with one of those professional segues, I hear you have a new campaign going on right now, and from the looks of it, it's doing pretty well.
Yeah, man. Thanks for asking. So, I run these things like my main vehicles, Twitter and a email list. I don't have a YouTube show. I'm not a guest on a lot of things, so I appreciate when I am brought on as a guest anywhere. But this is the biggest success so far. These are big numbers for me, and I'm always able to completely fulfill with them. So that's 5K. It's over 5K between Kickstarter and Indiegogo in the first week. So if we continue on that trajectory, we're going to get probably over 12K in 6 months, and that's those are big numbers for me. That means I can really open up. I can pay for I can roll profits into other projects, other stuff that are on the back burner. I can experiment with some stuff. Yeah, so I'm happy with that, and this is a big successes.
Well, just looking at your email blast here, Indiegogo is up $4,879, and that's pretty consistent. But it looks like your Kickstarter actually got a little bit of a bump since you sent this out. You're up $404 over there. Have you?
Oh, no kidding! Great.
Have you seen better success? Have you seen better success cross-platforming as opposed to being specifically on Indiegogo or Kickstarter?
I've always had a better. I've always gotten more off of Indiegogo, and it's always grown on Indiegogo. Kickstarter, every time I do it, it's I tailor the campaign for Indiegogo, and then you can just copy paste it over to Kickstarter. And if you make a few $100s, that's a few $100 you made in an hour that you wouldn't normally have
Right.
if you didn't copy paste. So it's always worth
And
it to me. But I for some reason it's always harder. It's more of an uphill battle with Kickstarter and continues to get worse. I don't know why. So I just
well,
try to hit the
it's a
$500 goal, but whatever.
it's a bit of a double-edged sword from what I've noticed in the past
Mm.
couple of months, because Indiegogo seems to have taken a liking to shadow banning indie creators off their comics, because they're getting more and more professionals bringing projects over.
Yeah, I looked into that too. I tried I looked at the RU shadow band algorithm thing, and I wasn't, except for all the campaigns I've done before that are closed, and some people are kind of walking that suspicion back a bit. It might have something to do with older campaigns or closed campaigns are getting that.
Oh,
Do we promote Y/N? If you're getting an N, you might just have an old campaign, or you might just have a pre-launch. You don't have a recently launched campaign.
right.
So
I have seen that a lot of people were talking about their email list specifically, so that might be something there. But
oh yeah.
but no, I mean it looks like you're doing pretty good so far, especially like I said, in what, 8 days you've almost cleared $5,000 on Indiegogo alone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
let me pull this up. I gotta pull the tab out here. There we go. I love Opera. Opera is so convenient. If you're not using Opera, what are you doing with your life? There we go. Share screen. I don't need sound for this one. Let me just find the right tab. Do-do-do. Look at all those tabs. All right. So here we've got Kyrie Book 3. Oh, nope, wrong tab. Damn it. That's the Kickstarter. I wanted to bring up the Indiegogo. Such a professional. I've done this before, I promise. Thanks for helping out there, Larry. I appreciate it.
I was actually trying to put the link, and I was concentrating.
All right, there we go. There's the Indiegogo. All right, Kyrie Book 3, Robbers in the House of 100 Gates. The exiled trio fight to uncover the lost temple of the Egyptian desert before it turns deadly. So you've got your featured tier. It's $59 for the Epic Collection, which, let's see here, is Kyrie Book 3. 3 pixel magnets, a 4x6 piece of original art, the making of booklet, and a real ancient Roman coin. So that's interesting. Where'd you get the ancient Roman coins?
eBay.
Okay.
See,
But I'm gonna.
the thing is, the ancient Roman coins. There are some that are not that expensive.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah. But I buy them in bulk, and then I can date them and give you a description of who's on the coin, when it was issued, that sort of thing. So it's personalized for me. It's not just something you can get off eBay, because
right.
it's gonna be it's gonna come with a card that dates it and everything. So
No, man,
you know what you got.
You gotta lie to people. You gotta tell them, look, I just went out pilfering. I knocked Caesar over. I ran his pockets.
That's not a bad idea. Just
you're
play into
also
the story a little
bearing
bit.
the other great things in this package. There's the making of booklet.
I said that. I said all the things. I just wanted to know more about the ancient Roman coins, man.
Okay.
So we've got the PDF. We've got the PDF tier for 10. You've got a catch-up tier for Wild Tales 1 and 2. You've got Book 3 by itself for 20. You've got Book 2 PDF combo. Books 1, 2, is that Books 1, 2, and 3? Okay. You got the Book 3 and the 2 PDFs. Got it. And then you've got Book 1 and Book 3 and Book 2 in PDF form. I'm guessing the Book 2 is in limited supply, and oh no, that's yeah. I'm guessing Book 2 is in limited supply and only available for the don't.
No, you'd be correct. It's hard to people really bought into the book 2 over the last year. So we're pretty much sold out. I'm talking I'm talking to people who bought extras last time and seeing if I can buy them back from them to restock. But yeah, we're
Okay.
sold out of physical books 1, 2, and 3 as a pack.
Oh
So
man, that's awesome. The stretch goal #1 mixtape QR codes.
yeah,
Did
I
you
wasn't
did
sure you dig that because I thought that'd be, it's hard to get physical music media out there anymore, but I thought
I did.
that could be a
Yeah.
nice way to do it.
I really do like that, and that's just it's a piece of my heart because this used to be what I did for a living, stuff like this, making little things like this, like on a laser, and then
Oh yeah.
then
Oh
then
nice.
pad printing them and stuff like that. So seeing stuff like this in the wild always makes me happy. It's so
So
creative.
are you
Oh cool.
officially moved on from that employer?
I am. I run a
Congratulations.
really big printer now, like a huge one, like it could eat me.
Oh neat.
You ever seen an ugly couch? I print the fabric that goes on those.
Oh cool. That's cool.
So
I'm sure it takes a lot of technical expertise.
we've got a do-it-yourself catapult. Speaking of technical expertise, see those professional segues? I'm just knocking them out of the park today.
Yeah. Just weave them all together. Yep.
Oh man, the art, everything you've come to expect, all the quality and everything that you've come to expect over the course of this book's run.
And
Oh,
Well,
also,
thanks.
Matt's
Means a lot.
coloring, I think, is really the one thing that really stands out to me the most when I look at his artwork.
I do love the fact that the pages aren't just like white trimmed. Like everything just kind of flows together instead of just having, because that's one thing about older comics is that's very
Yeah.
nostalgic. But now that we have like full bleed printing capabilities, I don't understand why more people don't do this. I think the first time I ever saw it was in with Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, where
Oh yeah, sure.
you had all the scribblings and everything in the margins of the paper.
Uh-huh.
But no, it's really good to see that coming up, and yeah, your coloring is really nice on these. Like it just it sets a tone almost. Like just you don't even have to read necessarily everything that's going on. You can get the tone of the scene from the colors. Like just the drastic contrast between these two pages.
Yeah.
You really have a sense of, okay, well, this is obviously happening in daytime. He's probably hungover a little bit, and then we've got the
Yeah.
nighttime where we see why he's hungover.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty
But
much. Yeah, I always figure, the border of the page is you know, it, comics are not movies. They're not trying to do the same thing as movies, and if you try to make them do the same thing, you're not going to make a good comic. But I think there's something to the idea of a dark border around the story
yeah,
that people in current year are used to from cinemas or from watching stuff on their TV at night. And there's something about that that kind of keys you into paying attention to the art just a little more. Like it feels like it's a visual framing device, that a movie theater gives you that
yeah.
makes it a little more important, I guess, or helps you focus. I don't know. And I think
Well,
comics can enjoy that too.
I think other people can also take away from this that it's free real estate that people aren't using because they're just so
Mm,
used to the way that it's been done.
even
Like,
better said, yeah.
it's free real estate. It doesn't cost more to put color on more of the page. I mean, you're paying the
Mm,
same page rate but I mean, use every ounce of real estate you can. Obviously, if frames and panels and everything are part of your storytelling device, then by all means do it the way you need to do it. But there's no reason you can't do something like this or even expand upon it going forward. Like,
uh-huh.
as a creator, you could take note, like, hey, this is something different that you might want to take a look at, and like, not you, of course, but any other creator looking at this book should look at it and say, hey, this is a really cool concept. How can I expand upon it? How can I use it to do what I want to do with my story?
So is
Just as
this something
opposed
that's,
to go ahead.
pardon me, I was going to say, is this something that's common more in the European style for comic book art?
Yeah,
Um,
Mate. Oh, did you have an answer for that? Yeah.
Oh no. It really depends. Like I said, I've seen European and Spanish inspired comics, and it does feel like if you get into your 20,000 ADs and your heavy metals and stuff like that, that you get a little more crowding. But I've never seen color used this way. Like I've never seen color theory done this way in anything put on, by a bigger publisher.
I picked up the Ghost in the Shell manga collection, the hardcover album edition from. I think they printed that in the early 2000s, and there's a lot of I mean it's got white borders, but the there's lots of notes that it's like an annotated edition where the almost in this frenetic schizo kind of way where the 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 artist slash writer is writing all kinds of little footnotes, uh, little jokes to himself, explanatory details that are unnecessary, just kind of expanding, almost like a sketchbook or journaling kind of outside of the normal borders of the story proper. There's all these kind of typed up kind of thoughts off the top of his head that help contextualize it. I don't know if manga does that in general more. I'm just noticing it with this manga, but I thought it was interesting. I want to try that at some point. It's probably too late for me to do that with Kyrie 3 books in, but I think it'd be cool to see a comic that does try that.
It's definitely a stylized choice. I noticed something very similar to that in one of my favorite books, just written by a very eccentric author, Mark Danilinsky. And
okay,
it's a book called House of Leaves, and I mean it's kind of a mind fuck from the get go because it's a book written about a manuscript, written about a movie that was filmed from home movie footage that never existed.
No, Church.
Oh, cool.
It's a book about a house.
No. Don't take this from me, Rune. Shut the fuck up. Also,
Rune, it's a book about a home, not a house.
that's right. No, there is an actual book out there called The House of Blue Leaves that is referenced in the book. But yes, welcome to the other two co-hosts of the show finally joining us.
Yeah, hey, how are y'all doing?
I'm good. I mean, making sure my mother eats will always take front and center, Church.
Yeah, and I'm currently in Florida for my grandma's 80th birthday party.
Your
So
mistakes are
you're on
your
the
own, old man.
You're on the other coast here, and if I recall, are people being stupid about the hurricanes over there or not?
No, they're not being too bad.
So good, you live with proper Florida people over there. Matt and I are having to deal with people who are being stupid about the hurricane on our side of the state.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, me and my girlfriend earlier we were at like a little tiki bar place over in like Jefferson Beach, I think, and the wind and rain started getting crazy, and everyone was just like, "Yeah, whatever, let's keep drinking and eating food." So,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's still Florida, though. I still kind of hate it, but
yeah. I mean, it's still paradise, but it's there's no gas down here right now. I'm at the bottom left hand of the state.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see at 11. I think there's going to be an update. I think it might get closer to Larry than to me.
No, they're saying as of 8 o'clock. They said it's going for Big Bend.
Okay.
As fairly usual, going for up the Big Bend area, which
Gotcha.
means probably by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it'll probably hit the Panhandle. Which
Sounds
Okay,
good to me.
Yeah,
Let's,
we're over in Stewart, and we're leaving tomorrow morning and heading up to Savannah, Georgia. So hopefully we'll miss all the crazy.
Oh
what's the weather like, Ollie? It don't rain. Thank you, Ollie.
Yeah, that's Florida for you.
Oh man. No,
See, this is why Washington is a whole, because we have rain, and if you are used to the rain, then you don't even bear notice. But there is a specific brand, a specific life form of Washingtonian that is subhuman and must be destroyed. That's like, oh, I love the liquid sunshine, and they're like super
You mean all
happy
the people in
to
Seattle?
be in the rain. Yeah.
Look,
and I
we all
loathe
know
them.
that people. We all know that people in Seattle just run around wearing flannel, humming Nirvana songs, being depressed.
Wearing socks
Don't lie
and
to me.
sandals.
Yes.
I mean,
just-
that's also
they
common in South Florida.
Well, socks and sandals, not the Nirvana part. I mean, grunge died up in the rest of the fucking country 20 years ago.
I wish it could have died in this state.
Well, that's your native attire, right? Like we call that grunge, but in Washington, that's just what the locals wear. It just got exported. Isn't that the case?
Yeah,
I
pretty
mean,
much.
that is more or less the case. Like that should be the case.
So, I believe our esteemed prepared one has some things he wants to discuss in regards to Edge Punk and Cyber Run. What are these things?
No. Edge Runners, which is based off of a video game that was based off of a role-playing game.
I was making a joke based on the title of the show because I'm a boomer.
Because
I mean, one of these days you'll be funny, Church. It's okay.
Hey, Rune.
You guys have gotten a lot more sardonic since last time I was on. This is pretty fun. I'm liking the ribbing.
Well, I haven't.
We're
I
like
haven't
2 years deep into this. 3 years deep into this.
You guys are.
Nice.
I'm like 4.
Yeah, Edge Runners
yeah.
is. I'm seeing that everywhere. Everyone's talking about that in the Cyberpunk game. I guess there's some pretty bleak themes explored, but I don't.
believe there was a show that reinvigorated the popularity of the video game and brought it back up on the Steam.
And
yeah.
And for some reason, I wanted to mention this when Matt is here, which surely wouldn't have anything to do with the fact that Matt and I are working on a cyberpunk book that's starting to get parted out to the artists as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely not. No
You
self-interest involved whatsoever.
wouldn't use this show to shill, would you? That'd be awful.
I mean, for money? Who would shill for money?
I mean, no, just who would shill on this terrible program?
Speaking of shilling, make sure you guys go vote for Nick Rekieta for the Grifties.
That's right.
Oh,
Nick
absolutely.
Rekieta for the Grifties. Also, Larry, the resident Jewish man, is the one shilling Rune.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
But so Edge Runners is based off of a video game, and there's a layered system of producers. So CD Projekt Red, Studio Trigger, and the actual publishing company, I forgot the name of it, the one that Mike Pound-Smith runs, they were all executive producers on the show. And they were all working together to come up with something. But realistically, this is a standard Studio Trigger anime, which is good, because Studio Trigger makes good quality anime. Nothing that sets the world on fire, which is interesting because one of their major animes is about firefighters. So you'd think that might have set the world on fire, but no. And Studio Trigger pulled out their top-tier producer card on CD Projekt Red because they wanted to put a lolly in the cartoon. The video game was like, companies like going, I don't know, that's problematic. And Trigger's like going, no, the lolly stays.
Oh, interesting.
And what's more interesting about that is CD Projekt Red had been hit by the usual suspects that we talk about so much on these sorts of shows on YouTube and the internet. And they were resisting them in the beginning, but now they're taking a more cowed tone. Whereas Studio Trigger has not necessarily gotten beaten up by them, but is taking a more pro-audience tone, which a lot of the Japanese content producers are very much a part of. And of course, Mike Pound-Smith in Cyberpunk 2020 predicted literally all of the events from Identity Politics. It's in the game book. It's in the role-playing game book. It's actually been a meme on the internet a few times.
Here's one thing that I do want. I have a bone to pick about with the the Americanization of certain anime, and I know it's plebeian level, but I kind of hate Fortnite for bastardizing Dragon Ball Z, because
Mhm.
I thought I was going to have something that I could share my love with my child, and in the Dragon Ball when he got excited about Goku becoming a character, and then I realized they're not. Yep, he's over here kamehamehaing me as we speak. But the thing is he's never going to understand that means the turtle wave attack and the dirty, pervy old man that created it.
Mhm. And yeah, and the irony about this is a Japanese anime studio producing an adaptation of a Polish video game company's adaptation of an American role playing game.
Yes, as it should be.
It's really great, and as you mentioned, the series on Netflix is so popular, it's caused people to download the video game some more.
Right.
And a lot of the Think PC video essay content about the show is focusing more and more on the lore of the video game and the lore of the role playing game. So this was a highly successful project, much in the same vein that Arcane is. The only difference is League of Legends is a much bigger video game IP than Cyberpunk is.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, who, as a decent human being, plays League of Legends? It's a terrible game.
Oh.
I used to play it a decent amount, but I was never that good at it. So
Yeah, and then you realized you wanted to be a good person, and you stopped.
yeah, there's
So-
just some games that you enjoy. After you put it down, you're like, "Wow, that was a good hour spent." And then
Well,
there's most games where you're just like, "Wow, I'm just like jittery and anxious," and you know what I mean. I feel worse.
Speaking of,
So-
I have to tell my 10-year-old to get off of the Fortnite every now and again, because he plays it and then he gets very, very upset when he dies, and I'm like, you're supposed to be having fun, kid. Like, if you're not having fun, stop
Yeah.
doing the thing. But no, they had like a League clone that was based around DC superheroes, and that was interesting for about 45 minutes, and then I was like, yeah, I like that they reskin League of Legends, but I'm still not going to play it.
Yeah.
Main Green Lantern all day, but you're still just juggling by the end of this fucking match.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So the Edge Runner idea, like, are we missing anything to the story with, like, what like the in-universe significance is of this Edge Runner idea?
So the Edge Runners exist within the ethos of Cyberpunk, the role-playing game, and to a certain extent, Shadowrun.
2077, right?
Yeah, Rune. Are you familiar with any other games that use the similar concept of the cyberpunk adventuring band like that? But basically, they're people who live outside the spectrum of the corporate world, and they earn their money and their place in society by doing the jobs that decent corporate citizens wouldn't do, but the jobs that need doing.
Look, I actually have to curtail this talk. I'm looking at the cast of Cyberpunk Edge Runners, and it's not diverse at all, Larry. It's all just white presenting Asian people. I'm gonna have to shut this down. We gotta have some more. We gotta have some more diversity before we can talk about this.
Well, I mean, there are gay characters in the cartoon. I mean, if you really want to do this, we could talk about how Lucasfilm hates the Irish, something that I know Ayrton would be interested in. Well, that trick. We saw you came off mute there, Ayrton. Oh, maybe his sound's not working.
Yeah, he's
Well,
Florida
like
him.
the Edge Runner idea, like from what little I could see, it reminded me of Mirror's Edge. I don't know if you guys played that game.
I mean,
that's just like
Edge,
couriers on the edge of society. That's not.
Yeah, Mirror's Edge came out after that. The concept for that came with let me actually pull up the pedigree. on the role-playing game.
Okay. So it goes way back.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
shit.
so the Cyberpunk role-playing game was originally published in 1988.
Oh,
So-
fantastic. Wow.
Yeah. So things like Mirror's Edge are influenced by this and by Shadowrun. And Shadowrun came out and
Oh, that's right. That was a big one.
Oh God! Have you guys seen the Rotten Tomatoes score for Cyberpunk Edgerunners?
I have not. What's it currently?
It's 197 respectively.
100 from the critics and 97
No,
from
no.
the fans, or
100 from the fans, 97 from the critics.
yeah. And Shadowrun
I
also
believe
came out
those
in
are.
89.
Well, I believe those scores are authentic, unlike The Woman King, which is currently sitting at what 199, better
Mhm.
than The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. That's,
It's gonna be our generation Citizen Kane, boys.
but that's the thing about Edge Runners and Ghost. Excuse me. Ghost in the Shell also has a similar sort of band structure and a similar sort of adventuring economy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell came out in the original manga came out in '89. So all of these things, Ghost in the Shell, Shadowrun, and Cyberpunk, all sort of emerged into the culture space in the same time in the late 80s.
Yeah,
And-
the early 90s, late 80s.
and all influenced by the same fiction. Because if you trace further back, you hit Walter Gibson and the original cyberpunk materials, which themselves did not look anything like Blade Runner.
I mean, it would have been better if George R. R. Martin had participated in it, I think.
Okay, guys,
No,
we're gonna do some violence on church. I need you to look away.
I don't know, man. Come on. He did. He created that entire book series based around his role playing game with wild cards.
That he never finished.
Well,
No,
it's a series of
Wild
short
Cards is
stories.
still continuing.
Yeah, it's
And
a
it's still
series of short
continuing.
stories.
Well, kind of, not really. I can explain it later, but the main portion of it is you have two novels of interwoven stories written by a group of people, and then a third novel wrapping up the storylines and the overarching story from the previous two novels. So it does all have an overarching theme every 3 books, except for the second set, which ended up being 4 books because he put too much on his plate storytelling wise, which he is
What?
wont to do.
George R. R. Martin not managing his workload? No.
Look,
Look,
all
I
I'm
just
gonna
hope that
say-
fat bastard doesn't die before he finishes Game of
Yeah, I was
Thrones.
gonna say,
That's all I'm saying.
George Martin has handled a load before. It's just a loaded cheese sandwich.
Right.
I mean, hey, Bryan Sanderson will still be alive after George R. R. Martin dies. If his work is unfinished and the Martin estate wants to get paid, Bryan will clean up another mess. He's done it before successfully.
Oh damn! Yeah, but not this kind of mess. I mean, this is
Oh no,
This is what
the
happened.
Wheel of Time had a very rabid fan base at one point in time.
it still does.
And then Amazon got a hold of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that is becoming the refrain. And then Amazon got a hold of it.
Yeah, but George R. R. Martin didn't even have to die for HBO to fuck his stories.
Oh, no. Disney just had to offer someone Star Wars.
I mean,
Yeah.
they also didn't want to do like a 9-10 year stint running Game of Thrones.
Well,
None of the people involved did. That's what it was going to take to unload the full opus.
Look, we don't want to talk about opuses or Oedipuses or anything in regards to Game of Thrones. Okay, this shit's pretty apparent.
I mean,
Man.
I would personally love a Game of Thrones send up that is just Bill the Cat and Opus from Bloom County. That would be hilarious to me.
Well, you know that House of the Dragon is based on the Dance of the Dragons that happened about 150 years before the main storyline, where a woman basically nails her uncle and has some bastard children with a member of the Kingsguard, and starts a war because her mother-in-law wants to put her son on the throne instead of her.
I did not.
Spoiler
Now I
alert.
does.
But the thing I really liked about Edge Runners, as somebody who liked the tabletop role-playing game and didn't particularly care about the video game,
Mhm.
it does a much better job representing the concept within the game universe of cyberpsychosis.
Now explain this to me, because
So,
I've seen bits and pieces from Cyberpunk, the video game, and
Mhm.
I've seen some poorly written fan fiction in regards to it, and I have no fucking clue what's going on, except it's basically Repo the Genetic Opera with
No.
bionic body parts.
no.
No.
So,
Here's
So
the thing. Here's the thing. Cyberpunk is incredibly fucking generic. Cyberpunk is good. Repo the Genetic Opera is an abortion.
So within the game setting and universe of cyberpunk, there's a concept called cyberpsychosis. The more artificial parts you get, the crazier you get.
The more skooma you do, the worse you get.
I mean, Rune has wares.
I mean, yes.
I feel like Matt's just like sitting back and like, how did I sign up for this?
No, I mean, this is fun too.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah,
We can hear you now.
You want to talk about
Okay,
potatoes?
cool.
Do you want to talk about how Disney hates the
what
Irish
kind of-
people?
I mean, Disney
Oh,
hated
shit,
a lot of
what's that?
people before the end.
What?
What was that, Ayrton?
Rune. I was gonna say, Rune. Have you seen the list of how many redheads and gingers Disney has turned into black people?
Yes.
I'll pull that up.
So,
yes, yes, please.
So in Andor, the private military police company that runs security on this planet has a bunch of people that are vaguely Irish or vaguely people of the North extraction in the United Kingdom, or possibly Welsh.
Let me just make sure. Did I miss the entire Kyrie conversation while I was helping my mother?
You did.
Okay.
The first part of it, we'll probably circle back before Matt jumps
that's the
off.
boring part.
I-
Yeah. don't worry about
I just mentioned because Matt here is sitting here muted while we ramble about everything, and it's like, I'd rather talk about quality products than Andor, but it's-
I'm
we did.
enjoying. I had to literally pull my cat off my roof. So
oh man, that'll do it.
I've done that before. That's a fun time.
yeah,
What?
I'm not checking out. I'm listening, and I just didn't want to add noise to your
Pulling a
interesting
cat
conversation.
off a roof. So Andor, at one point, the young go-getting officer in the PMC, who's told by his boss to not investigate a crime because investigating this crime would make the planet look bad, and he has to go give a speech to the Empire about how the planet's good and everything's fine. He gets a bunch of Pogue Irishmen and British working class people to go beat up some Hispanics. That's a thing that happens in a Disney show directed by a British upper class person.
Oh, imagine
nobody-
my shock. Turning
and
the Irish and
nobody-
the Welsh into criminals.
Well, no, not criminals. Police who beat up brown people.
Look, Ayrton, the Scots hate
Wait,
the English,
They do what?
and the
I'm
Scots hate the
interested again.
Irish, and the Scots hate the Scots.
Damn Scots!
Well,
Rude
that's
Scotland
fascinating.
from Scots.
Because they didn't.
Yes.
If it's from a, because some people are talking about like this has more of an American perspective. The show, there was some staff person who was talking about this is what rebellion looks like in Trump's America or something like this. But if it's written from a British
Fuck are you
perspective,
people smoking.
yeah,
Jesus Christ!
I know. If it's going to be done right, it needs to be something that isn't locked into
No,
some sort of topical, very narrow American concern.
But
A lot of
It's-
people who fit the
it's-
white trash demographic come from the same ethnic stock as the
It's-
people that the British upper class are making fun
I,
of
I,
in
I
the
want to
show.
point out. I want to point out. It's
Yeah.
in the
Wow.
opening of the films, a long time ago, in a galaxy far away.
Filled with British people.
Real world comparisons do not fit in fucking Star Wars.
But yeah, it's the lead enlisted man in the private military corporation is a heavyset guy with red hair and freckled skin
Yeah.
who speaks like a character from a 19th century police period show.
Yeah, Shane.
No, not like that kind.
That's
No,
interesting.
no. The guy from the Batman Adam West show.
Yeah.
Faith Nabagora.
It won't
Hey,
last.
Vigora.
Brothers and sisters are natural enemies, like the English and Scot, or the Welshmen and the Scots, or the Japanese
Right.
and Scots, or Scots and other Scots. Ah,
Exactly.
damn Scott, they ruined Scotland.
The other thing that fascinated me about Andor is they took the indigenous people of vague Latin American extraction, which were either filmed in Ecuador or Guatemala or Bolivia, I don't know which, and they're somehow
You can get
less
some Venezuelan
technological.
pretty cheap these days.
Oh yeah, but no, they were filmed in country, and they were somehow less technologically advanced than the Gungans or the Sand People.
Hey, Can we mention if we're going to talk about insanity here for a minute? Can we mention that this has the unintended implication that people of given ethnicities will never experience a quality of living better than that their ancestors may or may not have experienced in reality?
Is
though-
that not correct?
As though brown people are consigned to this suffering? That's
Isn't
pretty
that how
fucking
it
awful.
works?
It's
And
not.
the Empire
They want to
strip
make it
mined
work.
their planet, and the indigenous people became space refugees.
They want you to
Well,
think
you know-
it works like that.
I mean, there's something to be said that this has been part of the conversation since A New Hope, because the British, the Imperials are all British, and the rebels are all American in accent, and then we've got Princess Leia who switches between accents because she's
A terrible
she's
actor.
bit from both sides of the pond, as it were.
Hey,
You
shut your whore mouth. We're talking about original
hey.
Leia.
Hey, Carrie Fisher and cocaine did an excellent performance in those movies.
That is absolutely right, and that gold bikini carried work. But
Yeah.
Hey,
I just wanna point
fun
out
fact about Carrie Fisher's acting.
Yeah.
Blues Brothers, she wasn't actually supposed to be in that movie. She just showed up on the set and started shooting at the actors, and they just rolled with it.
I've actually ascribed to Nikki Rackett's point of view on Star Wars. I am no longer a fan
That
of the
it's
Rebels.
gay?
No, I'm no longer a fan of the Rebellion or the Jedi Order. I am wholeheartedly in the camp of the Sith because let's think about it. We've got a bunch
I mean, look,
of
the Empire's bringing peace, order, and justice to the galaxy.
well, and they're also they're vehemently against a group of robed men who keep children on standby after abducting them from their parents.
Well, that is the hilarious element of expanded universe lore, right? Because this has always been there. Somebody was trying to be based way back when, right?
Yeah, it was Jesse Lee Peters.
The history of the Sith is that
That's amazing.
the origins of the Sith were that they were slaves who found the Force and used it to free themselves, right?
Hmm.
Excellent.
And
We
that
just had to get rid of that because it went against the
Right,
narrative.
But here's the thing. In turn, they said we have power and we have a responsibility to use it for the betterment of the galaxy. Right? What led them into conflict with the Jedi and their ultra non-interference policy was that over time, the things you would have to do to fix the galaxy, to save lives, to purport, life and liberty and freedom, were escalatingly horrible, right? And the Jedi were like, "Look, man, it's okay, but you can't You can't genocide a people to save another, right? Which they have a point. The problem
But
is
why?
that,
And Darth Revan would say, well, why not?
well, see, that therein
Yeah.
lies the problem, is that the Jedi's response was, we can't cooperate or compromise with these people. We have to genocide them. So that literally the Jedi's first statement with response to the idea of the Sith Empire was, we have to destroy them because coexistence cannot exist. We can't be
Well, that's-
mutuals with people we don't agree with.
But that's lazy writing, in my opinion, because the thing is, it's the same lazy writing that keeps Batman from being a great comic book character. Because his whole moral implication of, I can't kill the Joker, even though this man has literally slaughtered all of Gotham like 80 times. But no, I'm going to be just as bad. No, nobody's going to look at you and say, you're just as bad as the Joker if you kill him. Everybody's going to look
Right,
at you and say, why didn't you fucking do this sooner?
But see, that's the thing, is that I think that, well, yes, on a surface level, it's lazy writing. At the same time, I like the idea that at one time the Sith had a point, that the Sith are in fact correct, right? But over time, extremity has undermined them, and both sides, Sith and Jedi, are wrong. The only true answer is what is colloquially referred to as light side Sith and dark side Jedi. That you have to strike a balance between the two, because sometimes, just sometimes, motherfuckers need killing.
Well, they used to have that in canon, and they were called Sentinels, and they had yellow lightsabers.
Right.
So, anyways,
Exactly.
I started lightsaber in.
My favorite fight scene in that movie was Anakin versus the younglings.
No, I mean, I would like that. Okay, Disney, missed opportunities, people. You could have had, in the sequel trilogy, Danny DeVito as a Jedi Master teaching Rey how to Jedi, and being like, so then I started sabering.
Oh my goodness. Best idea
that
yet.
would've been-
Yeah.
So we got 5 minutes. Do we want to talk about Kyrie 3, Whoppers in the House of 100 Gates, one more time for the people who didn't see it in the beginning?
Yeah, let's go ahead and pull that back up, because I am prepared for things.
Yeah,
You
that's
see,
kind of you. Yep, yeah. We're humming along. You know, I'm selling, and again, like, I gotta emphasize, like, 5K without a YouTube presence is pretty good. I have IRL stuff that keep me from being like a YouTuber / comic book artist. There's nothing wrong with that. I just can't pull that off. So this is you know, people buy the books and they come back, and I get really good reviews for this sort of stuff. It's just high adventure, romance of the sands, sword and sandal, historic fiction, fantasy.
How tempted are you to work in the scene from Indiana Jones, where the guy's standing there with the scimitar, and Indy's just like, oh, fuck this, and shoots him with his pistol?
I do reference Indiana Jones a couple times in this. I've got like a snakes. Why did it have to be snakes scene?
Nice.
It's always snakes.
And the camels. Like, don't bring camels, bring horses. And then he brings camels anyway.
Yeah.
There's that in there too.
Fantastic.
Well,
So.
just for your knowledge and everything, and anybody watching this on replay or anything like that, you can check out Kyrie 3 on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, and the links below in the description. You can also follow Matt on Twitter at Matt Krotz. I'm sure we need to get him back over 5K. He's just nearly that following. I don't know. We need to get him over 3K or 5K.
I'm gonna shave my beard and just do the mustache for the rest of the campaign if you get me over 5K. So
yeah,
that's a promise. Yeah. There's gonna be ritual humiliation.
That's right.
You know, bodily alteration. Anything it takes. You guys are gonna get it.
What do you mean ritual humiliation? I think we should do actual humiliation.
I don't know. Symbolic. We'll see. Maybe I get a piercing at 10K. I will. You know.
But you get a
No.
chance to get a real Roman coin if you buy the top end tier.
That's right. That's right. Get a real Roman coin.
Now,
Everybody
what
should
kind
do
of
that. My
piercing?
man,
Are we talking a Prince Albert? Are we just talking like,
Jacob's Ladder.
yeah? Like, what are we
It's been
doing?
suggested I go full Xerxes by the end of this campaign, so we'll
Okay.
see. If I want to go
All right.
300 route, you know.
I know a guy.
He
I
he wants
his
to get
knees
a-
are little rusty, but
he-
he'll hook
He-
you
he's
up.
me.
He wants to get a piercing called Lifetime of Regret.
Yeah.
Just go into the tattoo shop. Fuck me up, fam. Got you.
Yeah.
I want
I
to
lost
never
all
be
of
able to
that.
walk
You go
through
into-
airport
You
security.
go into
ever
the
again.
you go in the tattoo shop and you're like, paint me like one of your French girls.
Oh man.
I will-
So,
well, thanks a lot for having me on.
where
you guys are
where
a
can
blast,
people follow
and,
you? You said you were booked for 10:30. Are you going on another show that we can point people to?
Yeah, I'm going on the Well-Read show. He's doing we're doing a spoiler-free review of Shadow of the Conqueror, which is Shadowversity's and Mike Miller's new joint that they dropped a week ago.
I was actually just introduced to Shadowversity last night from Racket's 8-hour show.
Oh,
really?
yep. That's the thing. Yeah.
He's a fun channel.
I'm-
I still
I'm
want to
a-
check
well,
out his work.
He's not
I-
real though. I mean, he says he's Australian, and we all know that's fake.
I
True.
am
Yeah.
amazed that you guys have not heard me talk about him before.
Oh,
No, I think I've heard him talk about him. I just haven't been introduced to his content before last
yeah,
night.
no.
Well,
really, I've been
he's
watching
written a
Shad
good-
for years.
This Shadow of the Conqueror is I guess it's a novel series, and it's been adapted to comic now. And it's I can the comic, spoiler free review here. The comic is really good. So
Oh, sweet.
Miller's art.
It's worth every dollar.
I've always, regardless of the differences of opinions I've had with the man, his art is bar none,
sure.
is really great.
yeah, same here.
But,
yeah, I can't discount the art. He's a
Right.
quality artist.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, well, I'm gonna head out, but thanks so much. We'll
Hey,
do it again
thank-
sometime.
Thanks again, and as much as everybody should love Shad and check him out, Kyrie, you should buy that first. Buy Kyrie 3.
I don't
Kickstarter.
understand.
Absolutely.
Your dollar will go a lot farther with me than with Shad. He doesn't need your money. He doesn't.
He
Need
lives
it.
on 120 acres. He needs nothing.
Oh,
Shad also gets
wow.
serious YouTube money.
Yeah. All right, you guys have a good night. Thanks
All right,
again.
later,
See you,
man.
Larry.
Thanks.
See y'all. Bye.
All
There we go.
right.
Hopefully, we didn't embarrass you, Larry. I
No.
I tried to behave. I've
No,
been
I,
drinking rum instead of whiskey.
I mean,
that's
I
a
offered
dumb
you
choice.
the opportunity to talk about the Irish, Ayrton, and I
True.
respected your willingness to not take that offer.
If I
Look,
wasn't in a camper with my girlfriend and my two sisters, I would yell and scream more about.
Ooh, wait,
racism against the
hold on. What's happening in that camper?
Well, me and my girlfriend are in the bedroom. They're sleeping out in the living room area.
Ayrton's recreating House of the Dragon as we fucking.
I mean, here's the question: is YouTube watching, or have we been here long enough?
We have not
you
been
could
here
do-
long enough.
we've been
Oh,
here long
okay.
enough. Go ahead.
Oh, have we? So
Oh,
I
cool.
can say the
Okay,
F-word
so
now?
Ayrton, tell us more.
I mean, I just told you.
Yeah, but can you do
We're
it
just
like
giving
with
you-
a Barry White voice? Do you want? I got to turn on some candles
Hold on,
here real
Let
quick.
me get some gigolo
No.
music playing in the
Yeah.
background.
Your camera isn't on, Rune. We can't see the candles. It's not going to work for the
Oh.
effect.
But anyway, no. I even had the I even had the wherewithal not to make the Ethan Van Sciver crack while he was still on the show. So because he was like, "Yeah, it's sometimes hard to be a YouTuber and a full-time comic artist," and I was like, "Huh, really?"
Dude, man, when you guys were talking about
I-
cyberpunk, I had a cyberfrog joke lined up, but apparently my microphone wasn't working at the time.
And that worked out for the best.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about James Bond though?
Well, before we get onto
okay.
before we get into James Soy,
Well, hold on. hold
I
on.
want
Let
to
me go-
express
let me go
regret.
grab- let me go grab my PPK that's in my bag
Okay.
over there before we start talking about James Bond.
but I,
Because
damn
right.
started.
But I want to express regret that I had to answer the phone there and miss my chance to say goodbye to Matt, because Matt, give me a job. I'm not good at the social media presence advertising angle.
You
Right.
mean it's socializing?
Yes, talking to other people is a problem.
Being a person,
No, I can be a person, just not a very good one.
I've done it before, Rune. It's not worth it. Talking
It's not worth
to other people just
but-
gets you a YouTube show on Saturday night with 4
Yeah,
other
I know,
idiots.
right? Yeah. But no, I mean, I like Matt's work. I like what he has come up with, and as he says, he has found a mechanism for doing the media presence without doing the media presence. He doesn't have to double down as a YouTube guy. That would be like ideal. I would love to pick his brain for how do I do what you do, but not be dumb like me.
I mean, I'm partnering with Matt for that very reason. He brings all that skills to the table.
Exactly. See, we clearly like him. We're talking about him when he's not even here.
Yeah, because Matt's a good guy. So, they were talking about the future of James Bond. Is that where we want to be right now?
No, that's where they want us to be. That's not where I want to be.
All right. Okay. You might as well do it because I have 29% left battery. So
tear the battery off, man. Tear it off.
The next James Bond will be more in touch with his feelings, producers say. Producers said Daniel Craig's successor will continue the work of cracking Bond open emotionally as the franchise seeks to evolve. The next James Bond films will have bigger roles for women and more sensitive 007, according to the producers, who said Bond is evolving just as men are evolving.
So
And
have they never watched classic Bond? Like, they know he was married and the big arc of Roger Moore's movies.
No. They would never actually watch James Bond because that's horrible and recidivist.
Well, that's nothing. Let's pause for a moment on that, because who is the most significant female character in the Daniel Craig James Bond era?
Dame Judi Dench.
Vesper. No,
right, but she's not from the. But she's Dame Judi Dench is not from the Craig era. She's a holdover from the Brosnan era. They have created no significant female characters that aren't a love interest for James Bond,
except for the one in the new movie no one's watching.
Well, no. So do you guys
the only
forget
significant
Casino
female
Royale?
character in that movie was his love interest from Casino Royale.
Isn't that no? The newest film with the black super spy that's going to replace James Bond.
Yeah, nobody watched that movie.
I watched that movie. That was actually a swerve, and she's not a significant character. She's barely in the movie, and she's barely a character.
No, but the whole arc from Casino Royale forward was him having to deal with losing Vespa, which he named Martini after, and brought him back into the spy business. At the end of Casino Royale was her murder by
wait a minute.
Spectre.
Wait a minute. The woman's name was Vespa?
Yeah.
His woman is named after a shitty bike?
Well, no. The woman who died. The woman he ends up with is somebody he picks up in Spectre, I think.
I still haven't watched Spectre.
He picks her up in one of the earlier movies, and it's the one he has a kid with and who he dies trying to save. But that's the thing. When you think about the Roger Moore era James Bond movie, I could think of several female characters from the Roger Moore era that are more significant, that are stronger female characters, stronger female archetypes.
Yeah, I can think of female that short characters, chick that fell in love with Jaws.
Well,
I can think of stronger female characters in the Connery era. So what the Broccoli's are really saying is that they've produced the most regressive towards women James Bond era, while Bond wasn't even a womanizer.
Well, I think that one element that should be commented on is even in Excuse me.
Okay, well, while he goes, I was going to point out that, most people these days haven't seen Dr. No or remember Dr. No, right? But the whole arc between him and the female character, who I forget her name, is she's this strong-headed chick trying to get revenge for her father's disappearance or whatever. And, he helps her do it, but he also seduces her, which is a common theme. There's this strong-headed woman that he, through his charms and everything, is able to seduce and get with. That's kind of the thing. All the female characters are always very, very strong female characters. They're not these weak, damsels in distress, ooh, James Bond, please put your penis in me. No,
but I mean,
they're always very strong, and he has to work. He has to work to get them.
But wouldn't you consider the female characters in the Craig era weaker, Ayrton, from what you've seen of them? Wouldn't you consider the female characters in the Craig era weaker from what you've seen of them?
Oh yeah, they're not memorable. They're not real characters. They're so boring.
Well, now that I am back, one thing that I was having a conversation with recently over in the OSR, because they were misunderstanding it, is the idea of, while trying to be snarky and dismissive, the difference between powerful character as strong characterization and powerful character in terms of practical ability, right? While your mileage may vary, I think that modern writers conflate the two, just as modern people in the fan or the commentary sphere conflate the two, right? And it's like, oh, well, our character's more capable and more of a spy and more this and that and the other thing than Bond, and is a woman, therefore powerful. And it's like, no, they have a personality of a dish rag.
And also, if you have to tell everybody your character is strong, your character's not strong.
I mean, you and I were just talking about Game of Thrones earlier tonight. A man who has to say he is the king is not the king.
Well, hold on. Here's the thing. I don't have as much Bond lore as you guys do. I pretty much stopped watching after the Connery era. But one thing that kept me interested in the new Bond was the idea that everyone was kind of clamoring for Idris Elba to play Bond, and he's recently come out and said, "Hey, that's just not really my bag," and I'm not really interested anymore.
The Broccoli's actually said they respect that because it's a 10-year commitment, and at his age, a 10 to 12-year commitment, that probably isn't in his best interest.
Right. And well, not only that, but the thing is I was interested in him being Bond for the simple fact that I can't think of any other prominent actor that I would like, the
joys of being the command station.
Henry Cavill is currently the leading candidate with the bookies.
Well, for the meme, I'd say Tom Cruise, but I mean, it wouldn't be good. It would just be funny.
Well, see, that's the thing is
Tom Cruise as Bond would just be his Mission Impossible character as Bond. It's not a good idea.
Exactly. I just wanted, but here's the thing: I wanted to be Lex Grossman as Bond.
And Tom Hardy's actually been trying to get in there too.
I would hate Tom Hardy, but no. So I don't think any of the Bond actors were actually prominent before they got the role.
No. So Roger Moore was.
Was he?
Yeah, but I mean, he was prominent in the British film and TV.
Okay.
He wasn't globally prominent.
But that's the thing is I don't think we need to find a prominent actor. I think we need to go with the tradition and find somebody who, when they first start playing the character, is a bit shaky and not quite sure, and then the second and third or fourth movie they're in is really good. I mean, Sean Connery's Dr. No, terrible movie. It's awful.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I love it, but it's awful. But he gets significantly better at playing Bond. The only one who really came out of the gate hard and his movies got worse was Pierce Brosnan. GoldenEye is fantastic. The rest of them, I still love them, but they're not good.
Yeah, but can we mention why GoldenEye is great, though?
Why do you
Oh,
say
okay.
it's great?
Oh, okay. So, across the Craig set, which are more or less retreads of extant films because it's the reboot, they have had really bland villains. The only two villains that were halfway decent were the new version of Blofeld and Mads Mikkelsen, right? The reason GoldenEye is halfway decent isn't because there's a chick who breaks people's spines with her thighs, although that's interesting. It's because the bad guy is Sean Bean.
And
I
Tomorrow
don't
Never
give-
Dies is
I
good
don't
because
give-
of
Why
the
does everybody
villain as
say
well.
it? Why does everybody say his name wrong? Is Sean Bond or Sean Bean?
Look, I don't want to talk about human beings. I'm just saying that
Human bonds.
that human bonds. That actor was an excellent villain against Pierce Brosnan's
No.
frankly limp wrist depiction of a Bond.
No,
because
you're
Brosnan doesn't have enough personality to make me give a shit. I never cared about the Brosnan era,
no,
and that was my
no,
primary
women
era
did,
for
though.
Bond.
no. See,
Women cared
you're
about
wrong.
the Brosnan era, though.
The
Yeah,
the
That's why
Ru-
they
the
loved it
best
so much.
Hold
the
up,
best
hold up,
film
hold up.
Pierce Brosnan was ever in is Mrs. Doubtfire. Fuck you.
Hold up. That's wrong because Pierce Brosnan was in Paddington too.
I
That's
didn't.
right.
I didn't see it. I haven't seen it. I haven't judged it.
No, Rune, out of the gate for his first appearance, Pierce Brosnan had the best portrayal of Bond for his first appearance. He was suave, he was stoic, he had the quippy remarks, he was spot on in playing the character right out of the gate. No other Bond actor was that good at it from the start. They
I think
all
this is the
took
first
at
time
least
we found a
one
topic
movie.
that Ayrton gives a shit about.
Well, I
know
grew
what's-
up. I
In
grew up
4
on
years,
this stuff.
In 4 years, it took us 4 years to find out that Ayrton actually gives a shit about James Bond.
But I want to talk about the second thing.
Go.
The stupid.
Show's over, folks. It's been fun.
No.
We're done.
No, hold up. I want to talk about the second stupid thing that was said in that statement. That they want to have a more sensitive James Bond. So here's my problem
Right.
with that. James Bond is a professional assassin for the British government. He's not a sensitive person. He's a professional killer. You can't make him a more sensitive and emotional person. You could say he's killing people who deserve killing, but he's not going to be emotionally, more sensitive and enlightened. He kills people. And he needs to be able to hang out in circles of people who kill people and do awful things.
Well, here's this about that, because we've talked about Bond eras and different Bonds. Different Bonds also approach problems in different ways, right? One of the things I do not like about the Craig era Bond, and to a lesser extent the Brosnan Bond, even though Brosnan Bond was about gadgets, which is a standby, is the lack of tradecraft. Oh, they walk in, they lie to people, they canoodle, they punch people in the fucking throat, but not a lot of actual, I'm a spy, this is how I do spy things, right? And I think that's really relevant because you actually can, let's give them half of an inch, you can have a, quote, more sensitive or more restrained Bond if your story is the idea that Bond is a professional murderer, and he does execute people for the state, but he doesn't believe in collateral damage. And that's why he uses the suave and the debonair, is because he's actually trying to get as close to the correct target or deal with the correct problem, because his peers are more sort of you're Jason Bourne, I leave a mountain of corpses in my wake kind of people, and that's not Bond, and that works. The reason that their supposition doesn't work is because what they mean when they say more sensitive is they want a weepy Bond, a Bond who cries over dead people, and that doesn't work because Bond is a professional. You have to have objectivity.
See, Rune, I like where you're going with this, but also, now that I'm thinking about it, each different iteration kind of is kind of a time capsule to like when the movies came out, right?
Right.
Sean Connery, the 60s womanizing spy, Roger Moore dressed as a clown.
That's right.
in the 70s, and they had Moonraker where he went to space and there were laser guns. Each one gets progressed.
Pew pew, motherfucker.
Right. Daniel Craig does like the parkour kind of like MMA hand-to-hand fighting and
also
shit.
Dalton is almost just kind of gritty and
right.
kind of grimy.
Yeah, they went for the gritty tone in the 80s. It makes it almost, as much as I hate it, I don't like the concept of it, but it almost makes sense if you follow the movie lineage to make him progressively more emotional and empathetic. As much as I hate to say it, if you follow the trend of the movies as like a time capsule to the decade that it came out in, it almost works.
But it also means we should demand better, frankly, and that's where the...
We should. I don't disagree. It should be better. But
that's where the problems come in, is that they are so incredibly sloppy with it.
I mean, they'll do it in a terrible way. It won't be good. But
part of the reason I don't like Daniel Craig, even though it sounds really weird to say, his Bond is mean. He's not suave, he's not debonair, and he doesn't emote. He's a lumbering murder machine who shambles from one scene to another and leaves, the prerequisite number of corpses, action scenes, parkour moments in his wake, right? And then is just frankly exploitative to the women he interacts with, which sounds weird. Because you think, well, Bond, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, Bond is actually romancing these women when he does it. For the moment, for just that couple of hours, he honestly loves them. And it's like, that's part of his charm, right? And then...
the best way I heard it put was from the Critical Drinker. He says he likes the company of women, but he never lets them get close.
Right.
Well, here's the thing, and I think you're all missing. If they want a more subtle and sensitive Bond, they had it right after Sean Connery left. George
Lazenby.
Yeah, he was the only one who was like a one-off Bond, and while he wasn't great as an actor, like he had that kind of subtle, more nuanced performance to Bond that I think is kind of what we need now, because Daniel Craig, a little bit over the top, if you ask me.
Daniel Craig's a bit much. I did really enjoy Skyfall, but
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he was bad at being Bond. It was a very almost like edgy boy Bond,
Well, the point was it was supposed to be like a prequel Bond. And at Skyfall, what it looked like they were going to do is set up a world where we go from the world of the threats we experience to the world of James Bond peer threats. And then they were like, no, let's just meander around and do what we've been doing.
That's the thing, though, is that the real problem with the Craig Bond is he never does actually evolve. He's on the cusp of character development. He's on the cusp of being a person, but he always either returns to bog standard, right? Or he never quite seems to react to any of the stimuli that are surrounding him, which quite frankly makes him come off like he's some kind of emotionally stunted weirdo, which works if your idea is that he's a brainwashed murder robot because that's what the training does, right? Except that's not Bond. Again, that's Jason Bourne.
Right.
But there are a lot of things that I think creatively need to be done to fix the Bond franchise, but let me speak to what I think needs to be done non-creatively. Let's talk about the real world we're in. Streaming is king. They need to distribute these James Bond movies to streaming as well as theaters. They need to do a James Bond streaming show. They need to do a Felix Leitner streaming show. They need to do a Spectre streaming show. That's the reality of the business. And all of this, let's have a more sensitive Bond and reinvent women in the Bond franchise. It's getting away from the fact that you have product that people are going to want to buy. You need to get the product to them.
I've
You
got
don't
to
need to wait
disagree
2
there,
years.
though. You get an oversaturation when you go that balls deep and trying to milk a property for everything that it's worth. I don't know that there's content to actually make any kind of streaming property. Like obviously they have a good formula right now with a 3 to 4 movie run per actor, giving a new take on the character by explaining that it's just a nom de guerre as opposed to a fluid character.
Well,
You just
the canon's a little bit weird in that they say
Mm-hmm.
each character is their own timeline.
Right.
And doing the nom de guerre thing, if they did that for the next set of movies, would kind of be a major innovation in the Bond canon. I don't think it'd be a good one.
You think so? I mean, because I
I
always was under the impression that Bond was just like James Bond 007 was actually just the code name for
Nope.
whatever agent was in that position.
Same mother and father. They allude to his parents in the show. His mom's always from Switzerland. His father's always a lesser Scottish noble. James Bond served in the Royal Navy as a man of his social class did. All of those things are there. Yeah.
Oh.
So if
Okay.
James Bond was
Like I
a
said,
code
I don't
name
know it
that,
as well as you guys do.
yeah. So if James Bond was a code name that they rotated out, it wouldn't really be James Bond anymore. I mean, you could do that, but then you'd really be doing the Kingsman, but in a James Bond suit. And I like the Kingsman. I like Jason Bourne. I like James Bond. They're all different things. I also like the first Triple X movie. Unfortunately, they didn't really want to lean into that. So, like Ayrton, let's say they
did want to lean into it. They leaned into it and created the Fast and the Furious, and that was a mistake.
I mean, 11 movies later, I think that are all hugely successful. Just saying, maybe it wasn't a mistake, Church.
It was a mistake. It's made a lot of money, but mistakes make a lot of money.
But Ayrton, wouldn't you be interested to see a TV show, possibly a movie about the American equivalent to James Bond, who's been a background character in James Bond stories? Except from the Boston era, where they
called Joe Dirt.
but no. Seriously, Ayrton, wouldn't that be interesting to you?
I mean, kind of. Are we doing like the shit? What's the American CIA operative he meets up with every now and then? Yeah, Felix. Like, are we doing a movie about Felix or just some other random dude?
Yeah, no. Do you do one about Felix? Although they did have some fat American actor who played a CIA guy in the Brosnan era, who I also liked.
Oh, I love that guy.
He was entertaining.
Yeah,
especially the part in Tomorrow Never Dies where he says, "Listen, the official position of the United States government is nobody gets to start a nuclear war unless it's us." I like saying that is exactly what a CIA agent would say in that situation.
So, conceptually, yes. I think it could be interesting to do like I would say like a mini series, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily like a movie series or a full-on TV show, like 5 episodes. But kind of like an adventure of him in the background of one of Bond's things, you know. That could be kind of interesting, where like you see snippets of like Bond in the background doing stuff while he's like in a bar observing things and like kind of helping him coast along. That could be kind of cool.
Or what if we did a little mini-series thing about Spectre doing evil shit around the world? That could be cool too. So the thing is, if you're trying to come up with how do we make James Bond more #MeToo and #Time's Up, you're getting away from developing all the IPs that you have and making money. And you're doing things that are going to cut the nuts off of your main money-making cow.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what they do with every single series that they get a hold of.
So remember, after this show, Church, we need to find out a list of things that Ayrton cares about, and we need to put a pin anytime we see something on that. And he's like, okay, we need to pull this up. But I think we've talked about this before. How like my dad was super into the James Bond books. He like collected them all.
Dude, that's my middle name is James because of that.
Oh yeah.
So the first gun I ever purchased was a Walther PPK that I still have to this day, 10 years later, that I still carry. That's my number one carry gun because I'm the most familiar with it and the most comfortable with it.
My dad, as a police officer, actually used a Walther as a carry gun.
Nice.
It wasn't his drop gun, but it was his backup gun.
Dude, I mean, I love Walther. I have two. I'm looking at. I have the PPK, and then I got a PDP a few months ago, which is fantastic. It's a great gun, and I'm looking at getting the P99, which is kind of like a mixture of the best of both worlds between the PDP and the PPK. It has like the same features of both that I like, kind of mashed together. You know, Walther is one of the best carry firearm companies out there. Like Glock's the most popular, but Walther, hands down, is 1,000 times more reliable, more accurate, less maintenance. They're fantastic firearms.
So, Church, do you want to talk about Cyberfrog 2077 now that you're back, which is when Ethan Van Sciver will finally publish all those books?
Yeah, when Wreck Planet will finally come out, you mean? We can...
What was that, the Cyberfrog joke you were wanting to go with there?
It's similar.
We actually, if we're going to talk about that, then we need to talk about the $200 worth of recolored toys that he's pushing. That one of them broke on stream.
Oh God!
Yeah, you guys didn't see that?
No,
I did not. I watch meaningful television.
Let me. Well, no, I just saw a clip of it. Let me see if I can find it again. It's in one of my super secret DM groups. You know, where we do our background gay ops by laughing at Ethan Van Sciver.
Is that the name of the DM group?
Laughing at Ethan Van Sciver or Super Gay Super Secret Club?
Yes. Oh, so I guess the first thing we should discuss is the ongoing problem with cash grab. You know,
what's the problem? You know, back when Nurkish was still involved with the project, he said they were never going to publish it, and Cecil is continuing that promise.
Well, not only that, but here we go. All right, let me pull this up. Can I full screen? Yeah, I can. Okay, cool. I don't want to dox the DM group, but let me get this in its own little tab here. All right, get it full screened, and then I will just share the screen. There's no need for audio, I don't think. But let's just take this back to a little 5-second clip here. But yeah, so this is the EVS displaying the new toys.
Here's one of my problems is his wasp alien things.
Yeah, they're bulk buys from Alibaba.
I mean, no, not that part. I'm saying those don't pop for me. Like his Cyberfrog character, that visually is interesting and somewhat distinct. Salamandroid less so, but those wasps are just super generic.
Yeah. Well, they're literally bulk buys from Alibaba. I think I can pull that up.
Well, I was going to say they look like creepy crawlers. I used to make those with my creepy crawler set.
Yeah, easy bake oven for boys.
Yeah.
Bulk.
I mean, look,
insect.
I'm a weirdo. I would have had an easy bake oven. I'd have been down because hey, brownies whenever I want. Fuck you.
No problem.
But-
Here we go. Insect toys. Let's see if I can find it. Somebody pulled it up the other day, and it was damn near spot on, but I didn't save the link. But anyway, Cash Grab apparently has been on Kibosh because Cecil was married and no one knew, and now he's going through a divorce apparently, and EVS kind of just spilled the beans on this, just out of nowhere to get a little criticism off of his back.
Look, Donald's drawn the book.
Yeah, the art done.
Cecil can't write the book. It's not like Ethan doesn't have people who can't write books. He knows who could ghostwrite the rest of the book.
Well, I mean,
And isn't
I
Cecil
think,
like his cousin?
I don't fucking know. Butt buddy, I think. I don't know. You know,
But my
what they do
problem
behind the
That's a,
Pizza Hut on 3rd and Broadway is none of my business.
I was gonna say that's a different F slur. That's a different cyber slur.
And I just want to remind everybody that this section of our show is brought to you by Pizza Hut.
That is right. That is right. It's a fantastic sponsor. Get a pepperoni stuffed crust today.
Just
Oh my
go
God, he's
around
making
back
him
of the
into a
plastic.
Papa John's.
But
What was that, Larry?
again, to get the coupon, you have to go around back and ask for
That's
it.
right.
And Ethan will give it to you personal.
That's right. But yeah, we had that. Then there was the donation to Kiwi Farms that Ethan spent the better part of a day denying he made. Right around the time that some of his louder customers that were complaining were doxxed on Kiwi Farms. So you got that going for you.
I mean, Ethan posted on Kiwi Farms, and he generally posted on Kiwi Farms a less filtered version of his Twitter feed.
Oh yeah.
Oh God,
But,
it's back! Yay! Also, you
What?
bastards. I'm sitting here hungry because I haven't had dinner yet. Because I've been bouncing back and forth dealing with groceries and mother and all these things. And you guys were like, Pizza Hut. I'm like, I should get pizza. So I went and I looked at Pizza Hut and it's like, oh, look, the Detroit style pizza's back. And it's like, you motherfuckers.
Do they make it with the dirty water from Detroit?
I don't know.
That's how you get the authentic taste.
Look,
guess what did come in though? And instead of Wreck Planet, the book actually coming in, the folders are in. So you can have a case for a book that
Doesn't
actually,
exist.
let me tell a story here, and I wish he was around, but he's not. So wherever you're at, John, we love you. I was recently on Dillard's stream for a couple of minutes, and we were hanging out, and I dropped him a line. I said, by the way, I still haven't received my copy of the booklet. And he said, wow,
Right.
you really should have received that. And I said, oh, well, I assumed that it was a problem on my end, lost in the mail or something, because I moved in between, right?
Yeah.
I funded, and I did change my information on the site, but then I moved when so it just figured it went to the wrong place. Dillard said, well, look, let me look into it. I'll get back to you. He did, and found out that it was an error on his part in shipping. The book was actually at his business address for mailing, and he's got it remailed out to me. It's on the way. Okay.
Oh, excellent. So
And-
we can
and the
actually do
reason-
a proper review soon.
And the reason I bring this up is because that's how you fulfill, Ethan. That's what it looks like.
No, Rune, you don't understand. No, you go on your Indiegogo campaign and you tell people thank you for their extended patience on a book you're never going to fulfill. That's how
again,
you do it.
And
Then you put another campaign out and try and grift another $200,000.
And again, I just have to say, Cecil and Nurkish promised that Cash Grab would never come out. And Cecil's delivering on that promise.
I mean,
And-
he really is a man of the people.
But that is literally why I mention it, is because John Dillard not only has fulfilled, but he is going out of his way to make sure that everyone that he promised a book to still gets it.
Yeah.
Well after the campaign is complete. He could walk. He could not give a shit at this juncture. But, he's made that promise and he's going to see it through. And that's what you do.
Yeah.
John Dillard for president? I'm just saying.
He's Mexican. He can't.
He can be president of Mexico.
There we go. There's an idea.
Finally taking down the cartels one step at a time. John Dillard just dresses up like the buckler and busts in on the cartels.
Vote for the taco you want to have, not the taco you've got.
That seems racist. And I didn't say it.
Hey, Ayrton. Ayrton, I had to bring in potato racism to the show.
Okay, fair.
Look,
what are you sending me, Larry? What is this?
I already did my prerequisite potato racism today because I was talking about dead tater tots.
By the way, speaking of potato racism, did you guys know originally the word wigger was specifically made to refer to Irish people to stand for white N-word?
Yes.
Look, I grew up, tell you about my family, I grew up with the term Jap slap being a colloquial. Okay?
So did Superman.
I'm just saying, I was constantly told, Joseph, if you don't change your behavior, I am going to Jap slap the shit out of you. And it's like, you know what? I get it.
See here. Oh, yeah. Here we go.
So I'm pretty sure I'm the only person who's watched Attack of the Killer Tomatoes at least as much as I have here in this.
I have seen Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
I have seen Attack of the Killer Tomatoes as well.
I've not only seen it, I watched the cartoon.
Nice.
Oh, I love that cartoon.
So I
got the references in Gex.
So you guys remember the joke then where the one scientist says like, "Oh, you might want to get your coat. There's a Jap in the air." And the one dude turns to the Japanese scientist. He says, "Oh, he means nip." That is
bad.
That's some American propaganda for you.
Will you DM that image to me?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
You have a folder called Internet Racism.
Internetracism.gov.
That's just let's see. All right, I just take that off.
It's just full of Biden memes.
Yeah, basically. Well, I mean, he is pretty racist these days. I'll just put it in the show links where it belongs.
Perfect.
Hey, I'm
just make this the thumbnail.
Quite frankly, for all the silliness we're doing tonight, I am still wowed mentally by a claim made by a videographer whose essays are actually quite good, because it's just sheer batshit insanity. This individual has claimed that for spite, Johnny Depp gaslit the entire world into thinking Amber Heard was evil and mentally ill.
I think she did that on her own.
Well, here's the thing. Amber Heard beat her girlfriend that she had before she was with Johnny Depp. Did Johnny Depp like travel in time to convince Amber Heard to beat up her girlfriend before she ever met him?
I mean, who knows what powers Johnny Depp has?
Isn't he nailing that attorney that basically won his case for him?
I hope so.
That's called the bonus, Church. She gets a big bonus from Johnny Depp.
A bone. bonus.
Boner, penis.
What?
Bonus.
Oh God, is that where the term bonus comes from? Is the combination of the Latin boner and penis?
That's correct. Yes. Let's see here.
All right. Well, now that we got the casual racism out of the way instead of the formal, I'm gonna bounce because my device is about to die.
Good. Yeah, we're probably going to cut it here in about 20 minutes or so. I mean, if we continue on that long.
Fair.
I am tired. I have worked my ass off all week.
Hell yeah.
I had to move a washer and dryer out of the backyard.
Oh, fun. Did you drop it on your foot? The pro
Nope,
plates
made a
drop it
dolly.
on your foot. Oh, yeah, we did too. It fell off the dolly onto my foot.
That's a bad time.
Yeah, when you're going through the front door and you hit that little ledge that really shouldn't be there, it likes to bounce shit off. Ah, here we go. I think I found the wasp.
Oh, okay. I want to wait. I want to see this.
No, that's not the one. Never mind. I'll send it to the DM group.
All right. I'll catch
later.
you guys later.
Have a good one, buddy. I like more subtle Ayrton when he's not vehemently loud.
I mean, you had to find the right subject. But frankly, I missed the chance. I was going to ask him about a thing that he's doing for a thing.
Oh, okay. He's got too many. He's got too many women in the car tonight. He's not going to be masturbating on cam.
No. I have been talking to a young woman. It happens, and she expressed an interest in some of my work. So we were talking about my work, and this led me to scribble a thing. And since I am not a music man, I took it to Ayrton and said, "Ayrton, what do you think of this music thing?" And Ayrton was like, "That's a rough bed, Joe. Let me kick it around and see what happens with it."
Oh man. Okay. So I'll have to contact somebody to see if I can find that thing. But no, the fact that one of those fucking toys broke on stream, it was just the coup de grace of the fact that we've got like 5 different colorings of the same Cyberfrog figure, 3 different colorings of the same Heather Swain figure, and 2 different colorings of the same Wasp action figure, none of which have been delivered.
Here's the thing. I am not good at advertising, social media advertising, but I am reasonably good at understanding the limits and the remits of social media. And one of those things that really stands out to me is like, look, you're gonna put up your show, you're gonna advertise, you planned a program, right? Mm-hmm. You're telling me that he didn't take his own products and check them before a show to make sure that they were secure, right?
Yes. You saw the video.
No, I understand he didn't. What I'm saying is that there's no excuse for it. Because he's the one who uploads. He's the one who starts the stream. He had infinite time to check infinite toys to make sure the toys he got were functional, whether he actually intends to do something about them being crap quality or not. He didn't even have to pick them up and handle them. But somehow, magically, it just doesn't work out for him. Because he doesn't give a shit.
Correct. Because people will continue to buy it. I mean, that's the way it goes. People will continue to buy it because it's not about getting a product even. It's about owning the SJWs.
Well, that's always been my problem. That's the problem having over in the OSR when I'm talking to those guys. Is it's reaching that critical mass where people are more interested in getting points against opposition than promoting the quality and the concept of what they supposedly stand for. Right?
I mean,
there are things to be mad about, but can we please be mad about them and not about the people we don't like saying them?
That doesn't make money though, right? See, you have to have a target. If you don't have a target, then what are you doing?
Also, the people who say the mean things, they want to get in a fight, but they can't punch you, so they hurt you in places that they can hurt you in. So the
Right.
response to being hurt by mean people is to be hurtful back.
Right.
And then you can be a victim of their hurtfulness, even though you started it.
Or vice versa.
As
It's a
stated,
circle of nonsense.
I am not great at this process. Presumably because I'm a human being who breathes through my nose and not through my mouth.
No, you also don't cross-dress on stream.
Yeah.
And if you do, you keep your camera off, which I appreciate. You're not trying
Look,
to cosplay Liberace every week.
Look, you can't see what I'm doing under this desk. You don't know I'm wearing pants.
I don't care if you are or aren't, as long as I don't see it.
Hey, I just assume, like most furries, that you're in your fursuit in your personal time.
I actually have told people I both don't have a fursuit and actively disdain them.
Yes, but that's a funny joke that you just stepped on there.
Oh yeah, I know. No, in an idea.
You know he hates fun. Why would you try that, Larry?
Look, in an ideal world, right? The answer is there's some young woman under this desk, and I'm just chilling.
Always trying to keep a woman down. Racist and a misogynist. Rune, you're hanging out with Ayrton too much. Like there's only room for one of those two things, and Ayrton already called it.
No, I just happen to have a trend for finding the women that are like, please oppress me and tell me what to do. And then I turn around and tell them, I want you to be a decent human being, and I want you to treat yourself well. And they're like, what?
But it's over. That relationship doesn't last long.
Well, it's either that, or they're like, oh, can I please climb into your lap and have your babies? And I'm like, sure, where are you? And then they're like, I'm in South Africa. It's like, fuck.
It's all it takes is a green card, Ryan. You can get there. Oh man. Well, I think it's been a good show. Probably cut our losses before we run it into the ground.
I agree.
Get this queued up here. Larry has been so kind to send it over.
I came up with something good to end the show on. And don't forget to play the sound for it too.
I will. There we go. Be careful. Yes. All right, here we go. Oh man, I knew it was either Cats and Odd Places or Wholesome Memes. I follow both of those accounts. I needed some levity on the timeline.
Exactly, and I figured that was something good we needed to end the show on.
Oh yeah. No, this is a good show. I liked having Matt on. I actually really enjoyed the James Bond discussion. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect there to just be a half an hour of James Bond talk, but I was here for it.
I was also surprised, actually.
Ayrton's mentioned he's really into James Bond a couple of times.
Yeah, I didn't know that into James Bond. Like that was the thing for me. I didn't know that he like almost encyclopedic on the shit.
You know what? I think we need to do that as a show, just as a one-off. Of everybody needs to tell each other things about each other that they wouldn't, normally think of or know.
That's gay. I love you, Larry, but that's a homosexual idea.
I'm trying to come up with new ideas.
Are you into to tapes? Are you into tapes and CDs, Larry?
No.
Oh, good. You see these nuts?
I got vinyl all over my house.
That's right.
Yeah, but what about your
Right.
music? We're not interested in talking about your women.
Well, you don't want to have those in vinyl because that gets into a problem with cleaning.
Yeah, they get full really quickly. Wait, what?
Well, I mean, are we talking about the folders, or were we talking about the actual women in latex bodysuits?
I was
Yes.
talking about the latex women.
And also, yeah, all those things have problems with cleaning.
I can't tell that joke on YouTube. So good night, everybody.